Well, Enrique, this is exciting. Like I've been telling you before, I sent out a ton of emails to all of our clients and a lot of people who are just starting their Global G.A.P program about this new program that we created called Global G.A.P in a Box. But then I got a whole bunch of emails back asking me, what the heck is Global G.A.P in a Box? What are you trying to sell me now? Blah, blah, blah. And I realized that maybe we should explain it better. And so this is kind of like a webinar for you and I just to kind of explain what Global G.A.P in a Box is. And I wanted to have you, Enrique, here because this is your brainchild. This is your baby. And really, truly, we made it so cheap that there's nothing like this out in the market. For like $497 a year or $47 a month, you have access to this whole entire Global G.A.P in a Box. But you also have access to all of our trainings that you and I have created. HACCP, Primus GFS, tons and tons of webinars, agricultural training videos, all that stuff. And it's all for that same price. But I really, truly think the Global G.A.P in the Box thing is probably the best thing that I say we, but really you created. And I'm excited to see what it looks like for Primus GFS in the future when you get that done in HACCP. But I wanted you to kind of explain this, Enrique, and I have the Excel spreadsheet up here. I wanted you to kind of explain what you did here, how you did it, and then we'll kind of show what it looks like in the actual platform when, the computer platform that we created all these videos and stuff. But go ahead.
Okay, well, first, the origin of this project was, thinking in the industry, in producers, in growers, and trying to deliver them an easy way to implement their Global G.A.P programs. When people read the standard, normative documents, guidelines, regulations, sometimes looks kind of confusing. So I tried to simplify this so anyone, can, understand the purpose of the program and at the same time implement what is required according, the guidelines, in this case for Global G.A.P. Well, first, in the spreadsheet that is in front of us now, there's several columns. The three first ones is just, a copy-paste from the Global G.A.P guidelines. It's the control point number, the requirement, the question, the control point itself, then the guidelines, and lastly, in the fourth column, the level of the control point, if it's a major, a minor, etc. Now, in the fifth column, I tried to put, the expectation, the guidelines of compliance or the requirements of each one of the control points in the most simple way, in a way that anyone can understand. And also I define or I explain in that section if the evidence expected is a document, is a visual, for example, observing a practice, observing an equipment, or you need to interview something, it's a verbal evidence or a mix of them, yeah? Then, if we go to the column G, you're going to see there's a training module. What we did there, with a simple script, with that easy explanation, we try to explain which is the purpose and the requirements to comply against each one of the control points. Now, the explanation is not enough for our people, for our growers. So together with this, in column F, we add documents or series of documents, sometimes more than one, that can help the growers, to implement the documental part of the program. In other words, how to build their manual, yeah? The documents are very easy to use, yeah? All of them comes with very detailed explanation in how to use them, how to modify them, edit them. And in certain cases, we provide 2, 3, even 4 documents so they can choose which one fits better, with the reality of the farm, the ranch, that they're implementing, where they're implementing the Global G.A.P program.
I really think that's the coolest part of the program. So we'll go through and show you what those documents look like in the actual computer platform itself, but I'm going to give you an example of some of the documents that are there that Enrique has created. First off, one of the things you do, you download the documents, you change it, put your name there, and kind of explain, this is a risk assessment. We'll show the next document is the procedures for this same risk assessment, but kind of show how they would use this document.
Okay, well, in this case, we have as an example, one control point, AF411, is the risk assessment for workers' health and safety. Initially, this looks very complicated, but really it's very simple. As you see here, we identify the classic, risk in any farm operation, like, for example, pesticide exposure. And in the second column, we have different practices that are basic practices to deal with this type of risk. For example, specific SOPs, emergency and accident SOPs, et cetera, including, of course, training. And if you see, each one of the mitigation or measures, to deal with those risks has a checkbox. So depending the reality of the producer, the grower farm, they can choose or not choose each one of those checkboxes. Could you please do and check one, Matt? Anyone? So in other words, you can fit this risk assessment with the reality of your operation, the reality of your farm, and also the reality of what do you intend to do in terms of, deal with this type of risk. And if you scroll down, Matt, please. At the end of every document, there's a clear explanation in how to deal with the document, how to edit them, which type of information should be input, in the document, etc. Yeah. And one of the typical problems in Global G.A.P. Or for the producers implementing Global G.A.P. is how to link risk assessment with the specific SOPs, documents, policies, etc. So what we did, together with each one of the risk assessment, we generate a specific SOP where it's all the measures, the basic measures to deal with all those, control or preventive measures are explained. In this case, we have, the SOPs for and policies for workers' health and safety. This is the subsequent, control point after the risk assessment for workers' health and safety. Here you can see, basic instructions, things that probably you're doing, but you're not documenting them. So I put them in a document. So you can use them as a reference, to show compliance against the specific, policies and procedures that any farm must implement to deal, in this case, with workers' health and safety concerns.
Yes.
Of course, all these documents you can edit them, you can modify depending the reality of your farm. Yeah.
Like this last
Ah, well, that's for this snake bite. Yeah, those are the instructions. For example, if you're in an area where there's no snakes, you can delete that part of this SOP. But for example, if you're in Florida, in Washington, California, if there's any risk of snake bite, you can use this reference, to deal with those type of concerns. And of course, a little bit of fun at the end of the SOP. Lastly, pray for your life. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to say it's very important that you just don't download everything and then you put your name on it and then wash your hands, say I'm done, because when the auditor comes in and checks on things, when they look at your risk assessment, they're going to be out there. They're like, wait, why do you have a ladder SOP when you're a strawberry producer?
Yeah.
Right? Like, are you? I mean, how big are these strawberries, right?
Maybe it's a big plant of strawberries. Yeah, you never know.
Right. So you got to go through and make sure that you edit everything to meet your specific operation. But what I really love that you did here, Enrique, was you kind of put almost everything there. I mean, obviously, some people are going to have different risks that maybe aren't even on this sheet. So you got to look at that too. But how the procedure, the risk assessment then matches the SOP, and
yes,
go through and edit this to match each of the different checks that you did. It's really, really very well put out and laid out here for someone who's both just starting their program and also people who are looking to edit their program, right? Because it's a new, because Global G.A.P. is new now. We have a whole new checklist. There's some different changes in there. And so there's this will be able to help you then meet the expectations. Also for corrective actions. We get a lot of questions from our clients after audits are done. I missed this part in my procedure. How do I fix that? And you can just download these documents and put them into your current procedures or add this as an addendum to them, however you want to do it. But very, very well laid out.
Yeah, and something important to highlight, Matt. You know, a lot of the practices, you know, that I'm making reference in the different procedures and, you know, policies are basic practices that probably almost all the growers have implemented in their operations.
Yeah.
But the problem is they didn't wrote them, you know. And don't forget that global gap requires that many questions. There should be documents to prove different practices. So I just, you know, collect the classic or the basic practices, you know, implemented by the growers, you know, in their farms, and I document them. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is so cool. And again, we're doing the same thing. Enrique is going to be working on, I think, HACCP next and then Primus GFS. Is that right?
Yes, yes, that's the order. But something important to highlight with this toolkit too for global gap. First, this is, you know, mostly designed for global gap option 1, but at the same time could be useful for people implementing option 2 for the grower's manual. And I think that our next project will be to write the QMS, the Quality Management System Toolkit, you know, for global gap. So people, you know, using option 2 can also, you know, use this toolkit, you know, complete from the QMS up to the growers' manuals.
Yeah.
And something else very important to highlight. There's a lot of regulations, you know, laws who are applicable in different states, you know, in different countries, and sometimes they override the global gap, you know, guidelines. So for those cases, there's a section called useful websites where you can find a lot of information, you know, from different websites with a specific regulation that you need to keep in mind when you're implementing your program. Or other ones are, you know, links to websites where you can see, for example, trainings. Let me give you an example. In one of the control points, there's the need to train all the people who operate, you know, a complex or risky equipment like tractors, you know, forklifts, that kind of stuff. So I look for different videos in Spanish and English, in case that you have Spanish workers, that you can use as a reference when you're providing them those trainings. So you make them watch the video and then you make them sign a record, and that could be used as evidence that those workers were trained in such type of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that oh my gosh, is worth so much money, because I know how much time you spent trying to find all of those different things. And I just gotta tell you, I know for a fact I paid you way more in labor than just finding stuff.
And something important that I was leaving behind, access to database. For example, when producers are dealing, you know, especially producers who are applying to be certified in global gap with, you know, scope to external countries, foreign countries, MRL, you know, residue testing. I provide a couple of databases where they can look for, you know, the specific MRLs, you know, for the countries of their destinations. Now, the important things, those databases are free, yeah? So instead to print a lot of documents, you know, in your manual, you just keep the access to the database, you create your username, and when you're, you know, during the inspection, you can show to your auditor, hey, look, here is my database where I can pull, you know, updated information about the MRLs of all the countries where I intend to sold my product. Yeah.
And again, this Excel spreadsheet is in the platform as well. So when you sign up and go in there, and we'll show you how to do that, you'll have access to this Excel spreadsheet and all the useful website links and all that. That alone is really cool. You did a great job finding all of that information and just making everything, your whole program, in one spot. It's really nice. Yeah. And also where things link to different places. I thought that was cool, your comment section there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, well, let's go into the website and kind of what that platform looks like. So when you sign up, you will get an email to set up your password. It'll be your email, your username will be your email address, your password will be whatever it is you want it to be. You log in, and then it will kind of look like something like this. And there's different categories where you can go to. You can see all the trainings there, but then you can also do, if you want to just go straight to Global Gap. And then if we look at the AF version, you just click on that, and I already have it up here. Actually, it'll here. And it looks like this. And so then all you have to do is push start, and it launches you directly into the training, and it's so easy.
Two options for compliance: posting physical signs at each field, block, orchard, or lot, or a farm or sitemap.
And so each individual section that corresponds to the control point in that Excel spreadsheet that we showed you, each of them have a video that Enrique wrote the script for, and our videographer actually has a great voice, and he managed this whole entire program. And then also all of the individual slides as well are here. So if you want to do a training for a specific, like retraining for some of your guys, but you don't want them to come onto the site, then you could just download all the slides that Enrique created and do your quick little 30-second or 1-minute training on your own. You have access to all of our slides, all of our documents, which is really cool. I really like that you did that, Enrique. And look, you can just download the file. And now here's your Excel or your PowerPoint that you can use for your own trainings. And it's that easy, within seconds. But I want to go through and show you, what was that again? It was AF4.
411, worker safety and health risk assessment.
So again, the video explaining.
This control point requires a document. This risk
See, it says this control point requires a document, and it kind of goes
assessment
through.
mostly targets workers and subcontractor safety. A generic risk assessment has been provided in the toolkit with scope to common safety concerns at farm level, including.
And so I'll go through and kind of explain to you how to use the documents. And then here's the documents. You just go, there's your risk assessment. Or there's the slides for the risk assessment, excuse me.
Yes.
And then here's the actual risk assessment. And again, you just scroll down, and then you can download file right here. And there it is. There's your risk assessment. So it's that easy to use, and you can go through the whole entire Global G.A.P program like that, the whole step-by-step, or you can pick and choose what you want to go through. So if you already have your program created and you just need to edit certain sections of it, then you can just go through those sections. Or for corrective action purposes, after your audit is done, you can go through here, just find the areas that you need. And then you have access to this all year long. So you know, you might start doing some stuff and then have to take a break for a month because you're in the middle of harvesting or you're in the middle of spraying or whatever it is you're doing, and you need to stop. And then but then you have some time later, you can come back in, and again, you have access to this for a whole year if you pay for the annual thing, or monthly if you pay for the monthly. Anything else you want to add, Enrique, about this?
No, really, just to highlight, you know, that this is very easy to use. In fact, if you think that you really understand the program, you can, even if you want, skip the training video and go straight to the document. But it's highly recommended to watch the video, because there's several times that a producer, you know, a grower is not clear if the evidence expected is a document or not, or it's a visual, you know, of an equipment, a practice. So the training video or the training module shows you, you know, which type of evidence is expected to see, you know, or is expected to be, you know, shown to the auditor during the inspection. So this is going to simplify your life. That's the truth, yeah? And make the audit process more efficient. In other words, spend less time in your inspection.
Yes. Yeah. And Yudi does a good job on this. Now, we do have trainings again in HACCP and Primus, GFS, etc., but those are different. That's just, we recorded the whole live training. The HACCP one is modular based and easy to use. The Primus GFS one, we just recorded your full 3-day training, and so that's not set up like this, but it is the full 3-day official training online that you can watch and go through. So you have access to all that for the same price as this toolkit. But I can't wait till you get done building this Primus GFS in a box. That is going to be so cool as well. Then people will have the ability to use this for their packing houses when they're doing Primus GFS in the packing house, and then use this on the field for Global G.A.P if they're doing Global G.A.P in the field. Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, just, wish good luck to all of you who are going to use this. Thank you for choosing, trying to comply for this, toolkit and your trainings. And well, wherever we can do, we're here to help you.
Yes,
Yeah?
we are. I'll give you Enrique's phone number.
I'm in the East Coast. Please don't call me after 6. Yeah.
No, but seriously, guys, when you go through this, if you have any questions or comments, or if you need any type of help whatsoever, please just email me or call me, and I can walk you through anything. This is a great program, but some people just need a little bit of help with the computer stuff, and I'm here to help. So let me know if you need anything, and I'd love to help you out with that. And also, if you have ideas of things that we should create, Enrique's got a list, and we just keep tacking more and more stuff on. And but we're here really to serve you. So please let us know what type of trainings that you need, and we would love to create them. It might take a while. We have a huge backlog, but maybe if it's a real simple thing, we can get it done pretty quick. We can make that a priority. So please give us your feedback. And thank you for your time. And we really look forward to having you as part of our Train to Comply community. So see you soon.